over the past few years, I've been making my own bullet journaling inspired weekly agenda templates to work with my various Rocketbook reusable notebooks. In that time, I haven't strayed too far from my original design, which included a simple task list, one-page habit tracker, and a 2-page weekly spread for capturing my days, all of which had a very simple, boxy, minimalistic theme. But recently, I created a new template which allocates a full page for each day of the week, allowing me to plan in a little more detail and including an hourly schedule. If you follow my channel, you won't be surprised to find that the notebook I've been working with most lately is a Rocketbook, specifically the executive-size Rocketbook Orbit, which is actually less of a notebook and more of a clipboard-style notepad. But either way, I like to use these synthetic notebooks because the pages are washable and reusable when paired with Pilot's water-soluble friction pens. For more information, check out my Everything Rocketbook playlist, which I'll link in the description. I'll also provide links to the PDF templates of my new daily bullet journal. And while the dimensions will be specific to Rocketbook notebooks, I'm confident you could adapt them to whichever notebook you prefer. Personally, I like to use dot grid pages when making my agendas because the 8mm squares formed by the faded dot pattern provide the perfect amount of structure for writing and dividing pages without being too distracting. In terms of pens, I use Pilot's erasable friction ink in a thicker 0.7mm tip for making the template lines and titles, and the thinner 0.5mm cartridges for filling out the agenda contents. Lately, I've been experimenting with different solid metal pen bodies to host these cartridges, and my go-tos have been the Machine Era pen in this black DLC coating, as well as the Machine Era markup pen in brass. If you're interested in learning more about these, stay tuned for a future review. Otherwise, I use this OmniGrid 8 by 2.5 inch ruler, which I like because it's transparent and large enough to span the full height of my executive-size pages. The only other tools I keep on hand are my mini spray bottle and microfiber cloth, in case I make a mistake and need to erase the friction ink. When pivoting to a daily agenda template, I decided to make my cover page focused on the habit tracker, but also integrate a small events column where I can document my meetings and critical tasks for the coming week at a very high level. This allows me to both document my progress and plan ahead a little. Since the Orbit.grid page pack has a built-in title bar, I use this to capture which week of the year it is, as well as the month, if it's the first week of that month. This allows me to sort my digital backups according to the title while keeping everything in chronological order. For the events section, I use 6 dot grid columns on the left-hand side of the page, with 2 rows separating each day of the week. The idea with this section is not to capture everything I want to do each week, just the major events, usually meetings, which I summarize in short form, followed by the time in brackets. And because I draw this page at the same time as my daily templates for the previous week, I can document events up to 1 week in advance. Then, on the right side of the cover page, I start my habit tracker off with a sleep tracker that documents when I go to sleep and when I wake up using bullets. These get connected with a thin line, creating a visual representation of how my sleep trends are changing night to night. With this template, I have room for documenting about 9 hours of the night, starting from 10 p.m. to about 7 or 7:30 in the morning. But you can change the start time to better match your schedule depending on how early or late you wake up. I also place my daily letter indicators overlapping the denser dot grid lines so that I can place my bullets directly over the dot grid pattern markings, which indicate half-hour intervals. Beneath this, there are separate daily indicators centered regularly on the dot grid rows, with each corresponding to the 4 columns of my water tracker, as well as the individual columns of my habits that I'm currently tracking, each of which is represented by a single icon. In this case, I use a bullet at the center of the dot grid squares to indicate each glass of water I've consumed and each of the habits that I've achieved that day. Then, at the bottom of the page, I'll sum up how many times I hit each habit that week, as well as how much water I consumed in liters, with each bullet representing approximately 500 milliliters. And that's my new cover page template. It's pretty dense, but I like how it provides a quick snapshot of my week and how well I'm progressing towards my habits. If this video has sparked your interest in tackling a new creative project, like bullet journaling, you may be interested in today's video sponsor, Skillshare, an online learning community for creatives. The Skillshare catalog includes thousands of ad-free classes on a wide variety of topics, so it's easy to find something that interests you. Then you can learn online and at your own pace. If you're looking for something to complement your bullet journaling endeavors and want to embellish your templates a little, I can recommend Jessica Owinyo's Learn to Hand Letter class, which takes you through the basics of things like the anatomy of lettering, building muscle memory, and developing rhythm. Something you could practice each week when developing your own bullet journaling templates. And the best part is, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can explore your creativity today. Turning to my daily templates, I've opted to include a mix of bullet journaling, meal and exercise planning, as well as an hourly schedule. To frame each page, I leave the top 2 dot grid rows for the date indicator, which sits above my priorities list, as well as the day of the week title, which is placed above a 6-column wide schedule section. This schedule is broken down by the hour, with rows for between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., my typical workday, as well as morning and evening sections, each of which is 2 rows tall and is represented by a simple sun or moon icon. Here I document anything that falls outside of my standard work hours, like evening gatherings. Aside from this, I indicate my events the same way I do on the cover page, by providing a brief title followed by the precise start time in brackets. Beneath my schedule is a small 3-row tall section that I use to indicate my exercise plans for the day. This is probably more space than I need, but it works well. Then, on the left side of the page, I start off with a priorities list containing my top 3 tasks for the day, followed by a standard bullet journal space for documenting everything else that I need to accomplish. I find that this layout keeps me focused by prioritizing my goals for the day, but still provides the flexibility needed to capture anything that happens to pop up. Finally, in the bottom left corner, I document my meals using single letter rows for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This forces me to reflect on what I'm eating each day and helps me to notice when my eating habits begin to slip. Aside from that, I like to divide my daily pages with simple straight lines centered on the section titles and separating the schedule from my bullet journal. I then repeat this same template for each day on the front and back of subsequent pages until the end of the week, when I start the whole template over again with a fresh cover page. And that's it! I hope you find these templates helpful or that they inspire you to create your own bullet journaling agendas. I'll leave links to how I would make these templates in the executive size Rocketbook Orbit, Flip, and Core in the description below, as well as links to all the products that I featured in this video, and a special coupon that Rocketbook has been nice enough to offer to my viewers. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and let me know what part of your agenda you find most useful, using the comment section. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.